Welcome all. I'm Sarah Bumgardner with AAFMAA, the American Armed Forces Mutual Aid Association. Since 1879, we have been serving the American Armed Forces community, and we strive to be the premier provider of financial solutions. As a director of partnerships and member engagement, I talk with other nonprofit organizations about what they are doing to help service members and their families. In today's topic, we are talking about how much you should save for retirement. A great question to be talking about right after the tax deadline. So today I have Brittany Benassi. She is the Vice President of Financial Planning at AAFMAA Wealth Management and Trust, a fiduciary trust and management organization in Fayetteville, North Carolina. She is a CFP and a military spouse and works closely with our clients to help them define their financial goals while on active duty and life beyond the military. Brittany, thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm really excited to talk about this. For those of you who might have questions for Brittany, please drop them in the chat box. Would love to see your questions. And we're going to start right with talking about what is the first thing we need to know about saving for retirement.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think getting organized is really important. Getting organized and understanding your personal goals for
Mhm.
retirement, right? So outlining a rough draft of when it is that you want to retire, what you want your retirement lifestyle to look like, and envisioning that for yourself so that you can communicate that to a financial planner you may be working with, or just to be on the same page with you and your spouse.
Yeah, that's great. So we've got to do a little bit of prep work, right? Before you kind of dive into the numbers of what are we going to do in retirement? What's that going to look like? And then what number do I need to reach those goals? So when we talk about that, I'm thinking, right, that we probably need a budget. That's probably one of the first things in figuring out that number. So what type of budget would somebody need to be able to say, okay, if I follow this, I should be able to get to this?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, Sarah. And a lot of people shy away from creating a budget, but to be honest with you, it's such a critical part of your financial plan and getting organized. And there's a lot of different ways to create budgets. One of the budget templates that I really like, especially if we're kind of just getting started on
Mhm,
how do I budget, how much do I need to save,
mhm,
how do I get organized, is something I call the 50-30-20 budget.
mhm.
You can kind of Google it and get a lot of information about it, but I can kind of go over the basics today, and it's a great method to keeping yourself accountable.
Yeah, let's jump into it. This is awesome. And this is also something, right? When we talk about a 50-30-20 budget, this is asset allocation, right? So this is you can take this budget if you make $50,000, if you make $100,000, if you make $1 million, right? You can still do this. So this is applicable for anybody. Is that correct?
That's correct. I mean, there are definitely life circumstances that can make following this budget difficult at times, right?
Mhm.
So, of course, living in somewhere like San Francisco or sometimes even in DC area, this can be hard to follow. But if you can get as close to this as possible, generally it's a good rule of thumb. But yes, to answer your question, it's basically applicable to anybody at any income level.
Okay, great. Can you walk through, I know we have this up on the slide, but for those of you who might just be listening, can you walk through, Brittany, what is the 50-30-20? What are those buckets we're looking for to put into?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a budget method that helps like break down how to allocate your after tax dollars, right? So
Mm,
that's after you pay your federal and your state income tax. And the benefit of this budget is that it's very simple and it's realistic to help prioritize your spending and making sure that you're saving enough to maintain a very healthy financial situation. So let's just start with the needs that's on the left hand side. So that should be 50% of your after tax income. And that's things like housing, groceries, transportation, utilities, insurance, car payments, things like that, right?
mhm.
And then there's wants. That's in the red here.
Mm-hmm.
That is 30%. So we think of things like that are non-essential to your daily living, like entertainment, hobbies, travel, dining out, subscription services, and shopping.
Okay.
And then 20% is savings and or debt payoff. And this is where it can get a little bit tricky, right? How do I save 20% if I have debt to pay off? But that 20% really should go towards saving and or debt payoff. So a good rule of thumb here is to prioritize your emergency fund first. So typically we would say 3 to 6 months of living expenses. And if that's really hard and can seem daunting to you, just starting small, right? Build up at least $500 or $1,000 in an emergency fund and build it from there. I can talk a little bit more about how to prioritize what's in this 20%. So like I said, starting with an emergency fund first is ideal the way we think of it. And these are all, generally speaking, it's really going to depend on your personal situation. But priority 2 is ensuring you get a match from your 401k or employer plan, right? So, prioritizing that employer match because that's free money. There aren't a lot of opportunities to get free money anymore, right?
No. I'll take all the free money you can offer me.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that provides tax breaks and compound interest. And so ultimately, getting in the habit of paying yourself first and building wealth for your future is really important. If we're thinking about that 20% bucket, again, priority 3 is really getting rid of bad debt, like high interest rate credit cards, personal or payday loans, rent-to-own payments. And then priority 4 is, if you've been able to knock out bad debt, is really doubling down on that saving for retirement. And really, it's ideal to save at least 15% of your gross income towards retirement. And that includes your company match too.
Sure. Right. Well, that was so helpful and so simple, right? If we really think about this something that can be very daunting, right? To sit down and figure out, you've kind of laid this out really nicely, made it really simple to understand, and everybody's circumstance is different. So this gives you the opportunity to sit down and say, okay, what are my housing and grocery costs, right? And how do I want to live? Maybe I really love cars, and so I want to prioritize my car payment. Well, I might have to, live somewhere smaller or something like that. So it really gives you the opportunity and the flexibility to cater a budget to yourself. And I feel like, right, if you are catering something for yourself, you're probably going to stick to it a bit better. So you have a better opportunity of actually sticking to your budget. So this is really, really helpful. Kind of moving on to, we see right in this age of social media, all of the Instagrams and the TikToks that are, how to save $1 million for retirement, right? So as a professional in this space, Brittany, what would you say the dollar amount one would need to retire one day is?
Yeah, that's such a personal question and so hard to answer. And to be honest with you, it really depends on your goals and how you want to live in retirement. In addition, it depends on your income in retirement, right? So being able to project out, what your retirement looks like in terms of age, let's say location, where you want to live, what you want your lifestyle retirement to look like, right? Do you aspire to go golfing every day, or do you aspire to travel, or maybe you're more of like a homebody, right? So that personal budget in retirement plays a really big part in understanding how much you really need. And then also thinking about how much income you're bringing in retirement, right? So do you have a pension? Does that help offset your needs? And does that, basically decrease the amount that you need to lean on because you have that income source, right? So really understanding somebody's personal circumstance, I think, is really the most responsible thing to do, rather than saying you need $1 million, or 2 million. I think it definitely is subject to somebody's personal circumstances. And I just think it's so important to have a financial plan to try to outline those goals and start, working towards achieving those goals in the short, mid, and long term.
Yeah, no, and I think what a great answer in putting into perspective, right? That there is not one number for everybody. And especially with our service members and our veterans, their financial outlook looks a lot different a lot of times than the civilian population. And so it's so wonderful that there is an organization, right, like AAFMAA Wealth Management and Trust, that caters just to our service members, our veterans, and their families to understand, right, what their income looks like and understand the complexity that that can bring sometimes, and then fitting a plan to them as an individual. So I really thank you for what you do in that space, because you're the expert in that. I really want to highlight again kind of the actionable items, right? We talked about, which is a budget. That's the first thing you need to do, right? 50, 30, 20. I'm like, check, got it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it is to seek counsel, right? Seek guidance, ask questions. So for those people that are listening and thinking, I have questions, I'm a service member, I'm a military spouse, I'm a veteran, I've got questions about this, where can they reach you and contact you?
Yeah, absolutely. So our contact information is here on the screen, or my contact information rather. So you can always reach me at this phone number or wealthmanagement@afma.com. All of our staff are also on LinkedIn if you prefer that method as well, or directly through email or phone. We're happy to just, have a chat, talk about what it is that you might be looking for, and try to help you the best we can. All of us here really enjoy what we do.
Yeah.
Helping service members is really our passion. So we enjoy, helping them and having conversations.
Yeah, that's great. And for anyone who is just listening or watching on your phone, we've dropped these links in the comment section so you can easily find that. Thank you again, Brittany, for being on, for explaining this, for putting it into a actionable and easy way, right, to start saving for retirement. But that's going to wrap up our LinkedIn Live for today. Of course, if you would like more information about AAFMAA as an organization, about financial readiness within the military community, you can go to this QR code on the screen, or you can go to the subscription link in the comments. And otherwise, I thank you all for joining, and I hope you have a great day. Bye now.
Thank you.